Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Drafted Up Podcast. As always, that's Nick. I'm Theo. Today, we're diving into week 2 of NFL action, minus the Thursday game. We did that last episode. And we're going to give our starts of the week. First time. We didn't do that week 1 because really, it's week 1. You're starting all your guys. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing good. Can't really complain. Ready for this Thursday night game. It's going to be a good one, hopefully. No Mostert, so kind of a letdown there. I was looking forward to two healthy teams, but can't really get that in the NFL nowadays.
Yeah, almost didn't get Achane either, so.
Oh, dude, game time decision, and it literally came down to like an hour. Like a couple minutes ago, he was just announced he's playing.
So who even knows how effective he's going to be? It could be a lot of Jeff Wilson, who we are starting in the Megala Bowl.
Let's get it.
Super stoked about that. So,
what's his face is also making his season debut.
Jalen Wright, my dude, Jalen Wright, yeah.
So it'll be exciting to see.
Hopefully, yeah. So as always, you can follow us over on Twitter at @DraftedUp_pod. We're on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Search Drafted Up Podcast. Like, rate, subscribe, review, all that good stuff. Tell a friend. Do all that good jazz. We always appreciate it. Let's dive on in. Starts of the week. We'll start with quarterback. Who's your start of the week at QB?
Mine? Jayden Daniels versus the New York Football Giants.
Not Daniel Jones?
Hey, man, Danny Jones is a good streamer this week, I'm not going to lie. Like, if you need a quarterback, because like, say Jordan Love went down, like, a Sam Darnold, really good week 1, but he's got San Fran this week. That's going to be rough. Like, all these quarterbacks had a really good week 1. They have really rough matchups. Week 2, Danny Jones doesn't. So, hot take, Danny Jones could be an all right streamer. But my must start this week is Jayden Daniels. Like, a lot of the situation for Jayden Daniels was he was drafted as a backup behind like a safe pocket passer. Jayden Daniels went out and he was quarterback 3 last week. Week 1, rookie season. The offense didn't look great, but he ran the ball efficiently, and that's what's going to get him these high ceiling fantasy finishes. And he was QB3 last week. He's playing a defense that Sam Darnold looked phenomenal against.
Started 12-12, baby.
Shout out to your Minnesota Vikings. Darnold killed us, dude. So Jayden Daniels is a super gifted runner. And so even if these receivers and tight ends don't make plays happen like they did in week 1, the 2 running backs looked really good. And Jayden Daniels looked really good. The receivers were like a bliss mold. They were terrible, dude. Zach Ertz had a couple targets. That's about it. I didn't even see Ben Sinnott. I wasn't really watching too hard.
Nah, I didn't see him at all either.
But his rushing ability is going to get him towards the top, and he has the passing ability, and the Giants defense didn't look too great versus Minnesota last week. So I'm very confident in Jayden Daniels this week.
All right, I'm going Baker Mayfield. Baker, touchdown maker. They're playing at Detroit this week. Last week, Matt Stafford had over 300 yards on the Lions.
Yes, sir.
The Bucs running game, still inefficient, dating back to last season. So I expect another big game from Baker. If the Bucs want to win this game, they're going to have to pass a ton. Yes, I'm in on Baker. He might be just a regular start for like the rest of the year. If they plays anything like he did week 1, the Bucs are looking golden.
He can go out there and get 3 touchdowns again, he's going to finish a QB1. I like Baker starting this week, and should be a shootout theoretically. So hopefully Mike Evans gets a few TDs. Chris Godwin looked great week 1. Like, Baker's got all of these weapons, and White's a great receiving option out of the backfield. So 3 touchdowns in the realm of possibility. Jared Goff's also a very good start versus Tampa Bay this week.
Yep. At running back, I'll start here. I'm going with Brian Robinson Jr. of the Washington Commanders. He's going up against the New York Giants, home game for the Manders. Last week in PPR, Brian Robinson Jr. finished RB13. Dan Quinn came out. He said, hey, we can't be running Jayden Daniels 16 times a game. It's not good for a rookie quarterback. So I would expect more of those carries to go to Brian Robinson over Austin Eckler. And last week, Aaron Jones against the Giants finished as a top 10 running back in PPR. Went for over 90 and a tutty. I expect the same from Brian Robinson Jr. this week.
So the takeaway from this is the Giants' defense is dog shit? Is that what I'm getting from this? All right.
Do we have Terry McLaurin? Honorable mention start of the week?
As an owner of Terry McLaurin in a lot of leagues, no. There is no. My running back is Jerome Ford versus
I like that.
Jacksonville in Jacksonville. Going back to week 1, Devon Achane had 7 targets versus Jacksonville. Jerome Ford had the same week 1 as well. He had 7 targets, 6 catches. So we all know Jacksonville's defense is very prone to receiving running backs.
Mhm.
And if Jerome Ford is out here getting the workhorse back, he's getting the carries. He was on the field for 75% of snaps week 1. He's going to get the targets out of the backfield. If he gets into the end zone, he's another great play this week. He finished with 18, 19 points week 1. So Jerome Ford, lock him in as an RB1,
Yep.
an RB2 for sure, but
Yeah.
he could push RB1 territory.
Yeah, PPR especially, and then
For sure.
Deshaun Watson starting. That guy can't throw the ball over 15
Exactly, yeah.
yards at this point, so ton of dump offs to Jerome Ford.
Yeah, Ford getting in the end zone is like his chances are so increased because of how bad Watson is. Like once they enter the red zone, it has to go to Ford, like because Watson is not accurate at all, dude. He's looking bad.
Fingers crossed we get Jameis Winston soon.
Oh, I cannot wait, my guy.
Wide receiver, who you got?
My receiver is Brandon Ayuk versus the Minnesota Vikings. Your Vikings. He had a huge drop versus last week, week 1, and I think that's going to eat him alive, dude. He got paid. People are dogging him on the internet. Peyton Manning's dogging him about this huge drop. So I think he's going to come out, and he's poised to have a big game. Like your secondary's a little depleted at this point.
We got good safeties, bad corners.
You do. Yeah, exactly. So it just takes one play for Ayuk, and that's the kind of receiver he is. So I think one slip up by one of your corners. I know you guys got Gilmore, who's a seasoned vet, but Ayuk moves around a lot, so it's not going to just be Gilmore. One touchdown, all it takes to get Brandon Ayuk into a receiver 1 territory.
Yeah, and Malik Neighbors, he went 5 for 66 against the Vikings.
Yeah,
defense.
which is a great game for a rookie receiver.
Yeah.
It was very under talked about.
There's no reason Brandon Ayuk doesn't do that. I'm going with DJ Moore of the Chicago Bears.
Hey, I was going to pick him.
I know the Bears passing game last week was abysmal. It was pathetic. It was disgusting.
93 yards.
Yeah, against Tennessee. But if the Bears want to stand a chance to beat the Houston Texans in a primetime game, Sunday Night Football, big spotlights on Caleb Williams, they're going to have to pass the rock a ton. Keenan Allen is questionable. Roma Dunze doesn't look like he's going to be playing. That opens it up for DJ Moore. And Indianapolis last week versus Houston was throwing it over the top, stretching the field. DJ Moore is a top-tier deep threat receiver.
Yeah.
Let Caleb chuck it down to DJ Moore. I am very confident in a bounce back for the Bears passing game. I'm locking in DJ Moore in my lineup. Start of the week.
Even if it's not a huge passing game from Caleb Williams, Keenan Allen might not play. Rome is probably not going to play. So that just leaves DJ Moore, and I think he's going to get peppered with targets. If those 2 other receivers aren't on the field, DJ Moore is a surefire lock this week.
Yeah, I also considered throwing in Cole Kmet for my tight end, but I didn't want to lock that in if Keenan Allen ends up playing, because I think that makes Cole Kmet pretty irrelevant. Speaking of tight end, my tight end start of the week, Brock Bowers of the Las Vegas Raiders at Baltimore. The Raiders are going to be in negative game scripts pretty much all year.
All
and
season.
it's not going to be different here against Baltimore. Led the team in target share. Led the team in yards per route run last week.
Route run.
And he's a nightmare matchup. This guy moves all around. Like, he's not a
He's
prototypical
unguardable,
tight
dude.
end. Like, he's not a down on the line guy. He's playing in the slot. He's playing outside. Look what Rashee Rice did in the middle of the field against the Baltimore Ravens. I expect the same thing for Brock Bowers if the Raiders want to stand a chance to win this football game.
Yeah, I think Brock Bowers is... I tried to trade for him in a couple of weeks, dude. I think Brock Bowers going forward is you lock him in as a tight end. Like, don't take him out of your lineup. He's unguardable, dude.
Yeah, 6 for 58
I love
on
the pick.
8 targets last week. He and I guess Devontae Adams are the only options in this offense.
Oh yeah, for sure. Mine is one of the more red flagged tight ends from week 1. I'm going with Mark Andrews.
Same game.
Same game.
And that's going to be the first game we start with, so this is a good transition.
That is very true. I get it. Like, people are like, oh, do I start Likely over Andrews? If you have both, you might as well just start both. Like, one's a good flex option. Mark Andrews on the field 73% of the time. Isaiah Likely 63. So Andrews already got him on snap percentage. Mark Andrews is super safe. Like he's one of the best tight ends in football. Like he's going to get open. Teams are not going to bracket cover him like the Chiefs do. Like
No.
teams can't replicate that. Like it's easy to say, oh, well, you can just watch the tape and just do that. You can't do that because you don't have the talent to do that. And Vegas, they let 90 receptions to tight ends last year, which was top 10. Mark Andrews is going to get open. He's going to get catches. And so is Isaiah Likely. Both guys are good options. And Mark Andrews, he didn't practice for 3 weeks before week 1. He was hurt. He was banged up. He was in a car accident. So give the man some time. He's going to bounce back. I'm not going to take him out of my lineup just in case because he at the end of the day, he's still Lamar's number 1 target. If Lamar's on the field, he's looking at Andrews, and that's what it's going to be versus Vegas.
Yeah. No one can replicate what Kansas City did. They've done it twice now.
No. Yeah.
Steve Spagnuolo has done a phenomenal job game planning for Mark Andrews.
Shout out Spag.
Not every team can do that, or else you wouldn't see Mark Andrews being as productive as he has been in his career.
Exactly.
Yeah. Touchdown guarantee from this guy for Mark Andrews.
Touchdown guarantee. I like it.
Let's start. Ravens against the Raiders. Spreads 8.5 in favor of Baltimore. An over/under of 41.5. Not great. Start your Ravens. I think Derrick Henry's going to obliterate.
Henry's going off,
Vegas.
dude.
J.K. Dobbins was 10 for 103 against this team. Derrick Henry is 100 times the talent that J.K. Dobbins is. 100-yard game here for Derrick Henry seems likable. If it's not, it's because the Ravens have just blown them out and have just eased him out for the day.
Yeah. Well, and that's going to be the thing. Like, they're going to be winning so much that they're going to be like, it's not going to be a shootout like it was versus Kansas City, I don't think. So it's going to be a lot of running the clock down, just a lot of bruiser football. And that's what they're going to use Derrick Henry for. So Derrick Henry having over 70 yards, 80 yards, I'd lock that in.
Yeah, I considered making Derrick Henry my start of the week, but I just thought that was too much of a pussyfoot move. Like, it's Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, but
I get it.
Lamar, you're going to start him, but there's the chance that he has a bad fantasy game because it should go in the favor that the Ravens just obliterate this team. So it could be, Lamar just has 1 touchdown, but his rushing upside, he could still break 100 yards rushing.
Exactly.
Even with the 1 touchdown. You're starting Mark Andrews. We already brought that up.
Yes, sir.
Isaiah Likely and Zay Flowers, I think, are going to be your big question marks from Baltimore if you're going to start them. I'm comfortable starting both, but I'm not confident in them like I am Andrews and Derrick Henry.
I would be fine starting them in flex spots. Need be. I wouldn't start Zay as a receiver 1 or 2. I wouldn't. I mean, I would start Likely as a tight end 1. I would be fine locking him in as my tight end. If he was my only tight end, I'm comfortable balling out. I think he's going to finish as a top 12 tight end, so I'm comfortable starting him.
From Vegas, it's Devontae Adams and Brock Bowers. I don't really want to play Jacoby Myers.
No, he looked nice,
White,
but I'm not going
to. Negative game scripts, I think, are going to phase this dude out of the offense. If I'm in a pinch at running back, I would rather start Alexander Madison
100%
than Zamir White.
100%. Like, I loved him going off week 1, dude. I had him significantly higher in my rankings than ADP. I wasn't really high on Zamir White, like high. I thought he was going to be fine, but I really thought Madison was going to be used as the receiving back, and he was. He was the hot hand. He started getting the ball. And like you said, like a PPR league, I would rather start Madison over White.
Yeah. I don't want to start either of them, but if I'm in a pinch at running back, like say I have Raheem Mostert and I need to get a replacement in there, and I was able to snag Alexander Madison on waivers, I'll play him. But
comfortable with that.
I would I'm more comfortable with Madison than White, but I'm understanding there's a very low floor for either of those dudes.
Yeah, the floor is low for both. Jacoby Myers is like a sneaky garbage time touchdown kind of guy. So, like, there's a chance they're getting really blown out and they're just wailing this ball. They're just chucking it. And Jacoby Myers, he's good enough, dude. Like, he can get open. He's a good receiver. So, him getting as, like, if you, like, last flex spot possible and you need a start, I'm cool throwing Myers in there just off garbage time touchdown.
Yeah, I would hold Myers in the same boat that I do Madison and Zamir White as just, like, if I have to start him, I will. But I'm not going to I'm not
I
going
think
to
I'd
watch
be-
that game and be like, make myself miserable. Be like, God damn it, throw the ball
No.
to Jacoby Myers when, there's two elite options in Adams and Bowers.
I agree. I think I would rather start Myers though over the other two running backs.
Yeah. If I had to flex one of those guys, I would go Myers. I think he has more touchdown upside.
I agree.
I think we're both picking Baltimore here. I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right. Next up, the Carolina Panthers and the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are only 5.5 point favorites.
Yeah, that's a crime. Well, I mean, Carolina's at home, right?
Yeah. And an over/under of 39 points.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. That's disgusting.
I don't want to start any Chargers receiver because I just don't think there's going to be enough passing volume to go around against the Panthers.
No, I agree.
I'm starting both Chargers running backs. Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins to me are both starts this week as RB2s.
Oh, good God, dude. They both scare the hell out of me. Like, Gus is fully touchdown dependent. So, like, if Gus ends up there's a lot of touchdown upside in this game. Like, I'll give you that.
I'm more comfortable with Gus this week than I am J.K. Dobbins.
I would agree to that. I think there's a way better chance Gus just gets into the end zone. And like we said, dude, like, Dobbins only had those 2-3 runs, and he looked really average besides that. And he looked gassed towards the ends of his runs, dude.
Brother's got no juice.
Yeah, so like
his tanks, he's got a quarter of the tank to start the game.
100%. Yeah, he's always risking injury. He's always banged up. But Gus, I guess he can get in. I have him in our home league. I am debating on starting him. So we'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah. If I did have to start a Chargers receiver, I think I would go with McConkey just based off last week's upside.
Last week he got in the end zone. Yeah, that's it.
Though I'm interested to seeing how this team looks with hopefully Josh Palmer on the field for the whole game and he's not out here getting ejected.
Well, it would be nice if he would be on the field for 4 quarters. But I don't know if it's going to change too much. But Ladd was really touchdown dependent. His game besides that would have just been like 5 for 39, something like that.
Yeah.
And that's nothing to really talk about. So if it's not him that gets into the end zone, it could be one of the other 4 receivers. So it's too risky to start one of those receivers for me.
And then Carolina.
Good God, dude.
I mean, Xavier Legette was on the field a bunch. That was nice to see, but I really don't want to be sliding him into my lineup. Like, I don't want to play Deontay Johnson. I don't want to play Adam Thielen. The running backs are a mess. Like, if I had to play Chuba Hubbard, I would. Like, he outsnapped Miles Sanders. Like, we might be in a situation in the Mega Bowl going behind the curtain where we have to start Chuba Hubbard this week, and I'm absolutely dreading
I'm not happy
it.
about.
Like,
yeah,
if T. Higgins doesn't play, which is seeming likely, it's likely we're going to have to slide in Chuba Hubbard. So I think Chuba could do what Alexander Madison did last week, which, get a touchdown and then rely on some catches. But I'm not comfortable with it. But essentially, I'm not starting a single Carolina Panther.
That's what I was just like. They might be the only team this week. I'm just not. I would not start a single Panther, dude. Just with how bad they looked week 1, they're going up a team that has a really good defense, and like they're gonna kill Bryce Young. It's not gonna look good, dude.
Khalil Mack might be looking at 3+ sacks this week.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a fun game to watch just overall. So, but I got the Chargers in this, John.
Yep. Yeah. Like, I'm not starting a Panther until I actually see them.
What the hell's going on? Yeah.
Next up, the Cowboys and the New Orleans Saints. Cowboys are 6.5 point favorites. Saints scored 47 points last week against the Carolina Panthers. And that is the over-under this week is 47. Cowboys defense is a whole different ballgame than Carolina.
It's a whole different breed, brother.
Saints defense, also, they're fine. A little bit worse than Cleveland. So it should open up the Cowboys offense more. Dak didn't have to pass the ball at all.
Yeah.
But I think they are going to pass. I think Brandon Cooks is a nice sneaky play this week, especially if Jake Ferguson doesn't play, because then he becomes the second option.
Even if Ferguson plays, I think he's going to be mostly decoy. I'm cool with Cooks as a flex 100%.
Yeah, I'm not starting Jake Ferguson this week. Even if he plays, I'd rather just go with whoever
go
I
out and get the Rams tight end like I did.
Colby
behind the
Parkinson.
curtain. Yeah. I think that
Yep.
dude's gonna have a great fucking week, dude.
Yeah. Saints. So Cowboys running backs. I'm not starting any of them. I don't want to play Rico
If
or
I have
Zeke.
to, I'm taking Zeke just based off he got the end zone
he's
last
got
week.
the touchdown upside. Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't start Rico, but I'd be comfortable starting Zeke over like Hubbard for sure. I would take Zeke over him.
Yeah.
Um,
New Orleans. They were in motion the most in the league last week compared to last season when they
we were talking
last.
about it,
So
and it somehow didn't help Chris Olave at all.
No. I thought about being bold and making Chris Olave my start of the week for wide receiver just to give you the confidence to play, because you're going to have to play. If you drafted Chris Olave, you're playing him, and I'm going to go in just hoping, fingers and toes crossed, this guy's getting more targets than Rashid
defense
Shaheed.
to have a breakout game versus Shaheed, though, dude. Like, I guess he's flex startable just based off what he did last week, and Carl loves the dude. But yeah, you have to start Olave. I'm cool starting Shaheed in the flex.
Shaheed or Cooks?
Cooks.
I agree.
I like the offense better. I have them very close, but I like the Cowboys offense way more than the Saints.
I think Shaheed's ceiling is way higher, though. He can get a 60-yard bomb, but I don't want to have to bank on the 3 deep targets Rashid Shaheed's getting to hit. Then, I think Brandon Cooks has more touchdown upside. Like he's a red zone machine for the Cowboys.
I don't trust Shaheed to go off 2 weeks in a row.
No,
this is Alvin 2 years in a row. He's got 25 points week 1.
Yeah,
just keep that in mind. Shaheed's a week 1 kind of guy.
He's the new Sammy Watkins.
So like he's gonna have fine performances, but he's gonna have really bad games.
Yeah,
that's the kind of receiver he is.
I do think Chris Olave bounces back this week.
I agree.
I think he'll have a fine game. Alvin Kamara is a must start. He looked
good block him
last week. Like he had some juice.
Looked great, dude.
And then it's the tight end question. Like, there's a chance, like if you had Jake Ferguson or David Njoku, that you went out if you missed out on Isaiah Likely or Isaiah Likely was already rostered, that you went after Taysom Hill or Jawan Johnson. I think I'd be comfortable just putting them in and closing my eyes. One of them gets a touchdown. I
personally cut Taysom Hill for Parkinson of the Rams.
Yeah, I'd rather go with Juwan Johnson. I think Derek Carr loves him. Like, he was strong to finish last season.
Mm-hmm.
The hype's always been there with him. It's just a matter of health. He looks healthy. Caught a touchdown last week. I think he's a good stream option at tight end. I think he's also safer than Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is still too wild of a ride.
Taysom Hill, the only way he's going to get points is like a rushing touchdown versus Dallas. And that's going to be so hard to do. Like, yeah, they threw up that lob, like 30-yard touchdown to Taysom Hill week 1, which you and I looked at you and I'm like, they need to not do that ever again.
It's like the Cardinals throwing up that fucking jump ball to Greg Dortch.
Yeah, it was like
5'2" Greg Dortch.
Crazy. So I'm not really comfortable with Taysom Hill. I think there's better options. The Juwan Johnson, though, right? I think it's just as bumpy as fucking Taysom Hill, which is somehow crazy to me because he's just a tight end. I think both guys are touchdown dependent. Taysom Hill is just a rushing touchdown. They're two different. It's so weird. It's so weird talking about Taysom Hill consistently at tight end.
Yeah, it's
I just
impossible.
don't like the guy.
It'll never happen. He'll never be consistent.
No, well, he can't. He's not that kind of player.
Going Dallas, though. I don't think the Saints.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
Not going to be close, I don't think.
You're starting Kamara, you're starting Olave, and then the others, yeah, I guess you could play them, but you're not going to hold your breath that they're going to blow up.
Yeah.
Dallas, all no-brainers. CeeDee Lamb. I like Brandon Cooks in the flex.
Oh, yeah.
Dak Prescott. Not Jake Ferguson. Zeke's fine in a pinch. Rico Dowdle, just keep him on your bench. I wouldn't drop him yet.
I wouldn't drop Rico yet, but I would start Zeke in the flex if I have to. And regardless of Ferguson playing or not, I'm not starting him.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm out on Jake Ferguson, at least for this week.
Yep.
Next up, big game. Over under 51.5 points. The Detroit Lions and the Tampa Bay Bucks. Lions are 7.5 point favorites. We're disrespecting Baker and the Bucks. I do think the Bucks cover that. I don't think they're going to win, but
almost upset though.
I think this is a game that's going to have a ton of options. Amon-Ra, there's no way he has another dud game.
No.
Tampa secondary, not that great. Antoine Winfield, he's out.
Yeah, he's out, which is crazy. Huge blow to the Bucks defense.
Yeah, but JMO, I think he's the big question. Jameson Williams, are you starting him this week? After his big week 1.
He did come up on the injury report with an ankle injury. If he plays though, I'm comfortable starting him 100%.
Him or Marvin Harrison.
what the hell kind of question? You drafted Marv to start, Marv. Oh man, but if you miss out on another week for like week 1, dude, like Williams week 1 was bonkers, dude. Like he's so much faster than 95% of players in the NFL.
But can he do that if Amon Ra is effective? That's my question.
I think so. Because they're just two different kind of players, and I think Detroit's offense it's going to be super crazy. Like because you also have to encounter 2 running backs and Sam Laporta, so it's going to be a ton of options and targets going around. But I'm comfortable starting JMO over Marv though. I would. Oh my
I couldn't
God.
do it. I couldn't do it.
I couldn't. But the whole Kyler interview with we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Fucking scumbag Kyler.
But no,
I'm starting if, all my options, like all the reason, like you should, like Bucky Irving is a guy to keep your eye on.
Yeah, if he's out there, I don't like handcuffing my backs, but if I have Rachaad White, if Bucky Irving's out, I'm getting him to keep on my bench just in case, because Rachaad White still not an effective running back. Great pass catcher, but
it's great in the backfield pass wise. Yeah,
the dude catches everything. Like his catch rate is insane. He caught all 6 of his targets.
Yeah,
Bucky Irving though looked like a incredibly efficient runner. We love Bucky Irving here, so
love it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Bucky Irving's out there. I would snipe him up, especially if I had Rachaad White. But yeah, you're starting all your studs here. Chris Godwin, I considered him for start of the week to piggy off with Baker. He looked great out of the slot.
They said they were going to play him in the slot, and he did, and he looked so good, dude. 8 targets, 8 catches, a tutty, dude. Like this is Godwin, dude. Like if he's back, dude, he's a receiver 2 all year. Like he's a lock.
Yep. Hall of Famer Mike Evans out there, just still
one of the best.
Falling. Like I loved with like Jalen McMillan too. He got that big touchdown catch. I'm not playing him, but like he's also got like keep an eye on him. Like McMillan and Irving, like opening up this offense for Baker. Like losing Dave Canellis was a concern to me. They were running like nothing changed.
They looked great. Yeah, the offense looked so good last week, dude.
I'm starting Rachaad White. I'm starting Baker Mayfield. I'm starting Mike Evans. I'm starting Chris Godwin comfortably. That's it. I would roster Jalen McMillan. I'd roster Bucky Irving. I'm not ready to put them in my lineup yet.
I would definitely keep eyes on those 2 guys. The Bucks, dude, they're moving the ball though, dude. Like, and the Rams their offense looked real good versus Detroit. Stafford was moving the ball to a bunch of different options. Tampa has a very, very good similar offense, like the weapon wise. They have all these options, receiver wise. Any of these guys can have touchdowns this week.
And Detroit, Amon-Ra, like I said, no way he duds again.
Yeah, I would start all those guys.
Laporta, I'm also starting Jameson Williams. He's a guy I would trade high if somebody is like out there trying to get him for me. If I can get a haul back, I'd move him. He's also a guy I would inquire about.
Yeah, Robbie. Trade me JMO, Robbie, and Kyle Pitts.
Who you starting this, or who you starting? Who you picking?
Who am I picking? Detroit.
I agree.
Detroit at home for sure. I think it's going to be a great game, dude. It's going to be one of the more looking forward games. Personally, I am. So that game's going to be a hell of a game, dude.
Yeah. We'll go next up, opposite route. That's the Green Bay Packers. The Malik Willis, most likely led Green Bay Packers against the Indianapolis Colts. A 2.5-point favorite, the Colts are, an over-under of 41. So Matt LaFleur came out. He said, I'm not ruling out the possibility that Jordan Love plays this week.
What the hell does that even mean, dude?
Malik Willis is playing. He is going to be the starting quarterback this week. He's going to be abysmal. I've picked up the Colts defense. They are my stream defense for this week. And that may bite me because, CJ Stroud and the Texans lit them up. But Malik Willis is not great offense, any of that. Yeah. So that, from Green Bay side, I'm starting Josh Jacobs.
That's it.
And I'm willing to start Jayden Reed.
I would start Jayden Reed in the flex spot.
He gets manufactured touches. He's sort of like Deebo Samuel. Dairyland Deebo. He's going to get screen work. He's going to get handoffs, jet sweeps, stuff like that.
He's a backup running back to say.
I will comfortably put him in my lineup and just hope he just gets a ton of just short stuff. Because I can't see Malik Willis stretching the field at all. So I'm out on Dobbs. I'm out on Wicks. I'm out on Watson. I'm out on both tight ends. It's just Jacobs. And even Jacobs I'm worried about just because, Malik Willis ain't moving the ball well. So
It's gonna have
Indy's
to
going
be
to
Jacobs
stack the
moving the ball.
box. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Like, Derrick Henry struggled with Willis as his quarterback. Willis just isn't an efficient quarterback. He doesn't know how to run an offense. So it's pretty pointless to even have him out there, to be honest.
He's tiny Joe Milton. He could throw the ball a heckin'.
Yeah, and get sacked. He didn't even have a chance to throw that Hail Mary last week. It was crazy. Get the ball out of your hand on the last play of the game. What the hell are you doing?
He manages to make Will Levis's pocket presence look like Peyton Manning.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm cool with starting Reed in the flex for sure. And Josh Jacobs, I'd be an RB2 flex kind of start if you have two really good running backs ahead of him for sure. But anyone else in that offense, I'm 100% out. Like,
yeah.
Watson looked bad even though he had the touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Dobbs had a nice quiet game, target wise, reception wise, and Wicks went catchless. He goose tagged it.
Yeah, so did Luke Musgrave.
Oh yeah, for sure.
As Ash calls him, Sleepy Boy, he was literally asleep this week. Barely even played.
Yeah, well, Tucker Kraft's better. So
from Indianapolis, you're obviously starting Anthony Richardson.
Oh yeah,
I actually think this is going to be a big bounce back game for Jonathan Taylor. Look what Saquon Barkley did against this defense. And I expect this game to be more run heavy from Indianapolis. I expect Jonathan Taylor to go out there, ball out. I'm starting Michael Pittman. Obviously, you drafted him to start, and I'm just hoping he gets that 40% target share again. It just managed to only be 4 for 30. Josh Downs looks like he's going to be back this week. Alec Pierce, I'm not starting any of them.
I wouldn't start Pierce. I would actually look at AD Mitchell.
He is a stash guy for me.
He had 2 wide open touchdowns that Anthony Richardson just sailed the ball on him. Like, he would have had 2 tutties if he had a capable accuracy quarterback. I get Richardson had crazy passes. He's just not accurate. So he missed Mitchell twice. If he would have had both those touchdowns, we're locking Mitchell in as a lock. I'm not saying he's going to have 2 this week, but
Alec Pierce had those.
Yeah, he did. So, I mean, Richardson could have had 2 more if he would have hit a wide open receiver twice.
He just likes white receivers. That's it.
I mean, Pittman's half white, I think. Yeah, Mitchell, keep an eye on, though. He's going to get targets. He's going to get really deep targets because that's the kind of receiver he is. I think there's a good chance he ends up in the end zone this week.
Yeah, but Pittman, Taylor, Richardson, the only ones I'm starting with confidence.
Yes. Yeah, with confidence.
Yeah, the other ones I'm not, but Mitchell is a stash guy.
Too many of them to go
I would
around.
even stash Pierce. Just because the guy ran the most routes in football last year, like, there might be something there, but I'm not putting him in my lineup after that week 1 blow up.
No, if you have an empty spot or just like you can move guy to an IR and you just don't need to pick anyone up, just keep an eye on Pierce, pick him up, just in case he has another touchdown this week. Then you have a guy who has 2 touchdowns back-to-back weeks, or a touchdown back-to-back week, 2 on the year. Or he had 2 week 1?
No, he had 1. He had 2 50-yard catches.
Okay. So, but keep that in mind. Just, he's a guy to keep on your bench if you have an open spot.
I think, are we both going Indy here?
Oh, yeah, I locked Indy.
Okay. Man, we're all the same this week. After last week, we were all over the place. Next up, the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Cleveland Browns. Jags are 3-point favorites at home, over under a 41.5. Cleveland's defense was fine. But it was more fine because Dallas just didn't need to score because Cleveland's offense was inept.
Mm-hmm.
So Jerome Ford, your start of the week, I'm cool with that. He's going to get targets. I am scared to death to play Amari Cooper if I have him.
I took him out of the 2 dynasty teams I have. I have him. I benched him because I had better options.
I would try to find my way out of starting him if I could. Njoku's not playing. Jerry Judy's hurt, so Cleveland the vibes are bad. Yeah, it's Jerome Ford, and if you have to start him, Amari Cooper. Jacksonville, though, a little more
I would be fine starting Amari Cooper in your flex spot. I'm just, thankfully, I don't have to start him in these dynasty leagues.
Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence, it could be a case just like Dak Prescott where they don't have to throw the ball, and we know that Doug Peterson just loves not throwing the ball in the second half. Doug Peterson also might just hate Travis Etienne. Like, every year since he's been there, like, we don't want this guy carrying the ball all the time, and they're just trying to force Tank Bigsby to be a thing. And last week it worked.
Hey, it was good last week somehow.
Travis Etienne fumbled in the end zone, may have cost them the game. So could he be in the doghouse and could he be phased out a little bit and we see more Tank Bigsby? I don't know. I don't want to put that into the world, but it wouldn't surprise me if Doug Peterson's just like, Tank Bigsby, he didn't fumble into the end zone last week.
Last week he did. Last year though, 4 times. Like, come on, get out of here. Tank Bigsby's dog shit, dude.
Yeah. So I am a little weary on starting my Jaguars. I'm starting Evan Ingram with confidence. I don't care that he went 1 for 5 last week. I think we're going to see a big bounce back game for Evan. I am throwing the dart and starting Brian Thomas Jr. this week.
I would be fine starting Brian Thomas Jr. as a flex spot. I'm confident starting every tight end I drafted to start. Like all the big tight ends, I'm still very confident in all of them.
Don't overreact to week 1. They were all not great.
They were exactly. It's not. It was just like 1 or 2 of them. It was all of them. They all just shit the bed, dude. Yeah. Except Kyle Pitts and Brock Bowers. That's it. It's those 2 dudes, and both those guys have huge. They had huge question marks going into the year, even though they were drafted as the top 12 tight ends.
Yep.
So Evan Ingram, I'm locking in. Christian Kirk, I'm keeping an eye on. He still had 4 targets. He ended up with only 1 catch. But I'm not starting Christian Kirk. I'm just keeping an eye on him.
I'm treating Christian Kirk like I am Amari Cooper. I'm not putting him in my lineup if I don't have to.
No, I would have Cooper well above Christian Kirk. I'm not going to start.
There's nobody else in that offense to throw the ball to besides Jerome Ford in Cleveland. Whereas Jacksonville, you have Brian Thomas Jr. They were putting Gabe Davis work in the middle of the field, which was wild, and it worked. Yeah. So Jacksonville, they're some decent mouths to feed. So yeah, I'm kind of out on Christian Kirk right now, but he's a guy like I would buy low on him though. If he's available, like if the team who owns him isn't willing to, do anything with Christian Kirk, I would shoot them a message. Be like, hey, what do you want for Christian Kirk?
Sounds like you want Christian Kirk, DJ. And,
I don't.
You're talking to the guy that has him.
I have Brian Thomas Jr. I don't want Christian Kirk.
So Jacksonville, I'm cool with ETN. I'm cool with Brian Thomas Jr. locking in Evan Ingram. I wouldn't start Trevor Lawrence. I would try to find a better streaming option. I think there's going to be more touchdowns to go around in other games. And then the Cleveland side, like we said, Ford, and then Cooper if you have to in a flex spot. Worst case scenario.
Yeah, I am watching how the running backs unfold in Jacksonville this week. Because I will be on red alert if Tank Bigsby played as much as he did and was effective as he was last week.
They did have equal carries, it's kind of concerning they had equal 30 carries. More yards. So I'm more well in on ETN than anywhere near I'd be with Tank Bigsby.
Yeah, I'm picking Jacksonville too here to win this game.
I am picking Cleveland. There's a difference.
We got a different. All right, next up, my Minnesota Vikings home opener, baby, against the San Francisco 49ers, and the 49ers are 5.5-point favorites
on the road.
An over-under of 46.5 points. Sort of a revenge game for Sam Darnold. He played for the Niners last year.
He did.
I do not think it will be as handsomely great as it was against the New York Giants, though. But you're starting Justin Jefferson.
Yep.
You're starting Aaron Jones. He looked great against the Giants.
You have to because he looked good. He's a good flex option this week. RB2.
Real deep leagues. I'm looking at Jalen Naylor. Because Jordan Addison, we don't know if he's playing yet, but I'm talking 16 to 14 team leagues where I'm putting Jalen Naylor in.
Okay.
But not 12. But he's a guy to keep an eye on. If Addison misses an extended time and Jalen Naylor goes out and performs again, hit a touchdown last week against the Giants. So I would keep an eye on because Addison was productive and still is productive in this offense. So Naylor, who was projected to play the T.J. Hawkinson role, is now playing the Jordan Addison role. But I don't think Minnesota wins this game.
I don't think so. But Jordan Mason looked great week one.
Jordan Mason, we didn't talk about him. What a superstar.
Both great, dude. I am concerned not right away when McCaffrey comes back. I think they're going to ease him back in because they have Jordan Mason. But at some point, I think it goes back to the way it was where McCaffrey's just McCaffrey and Mason's not getting anything. Unfortunately, because he looks great. Yeah. But that's just that's this offense. Dude.
Whoever they put in is Shanahan. Hey, person sitting in section 315, row 28, seat 5, you're our starting running back. Come on down, and they'll work. No disrespect to Jordan Mason because he ripped up the Jets. 28 for 147. You're starting him. Even if Christian McCaffrey is somehow active, I'm still playing Jordan Mason. You're
Yeah.
starting Debo. You're starting Brandon Ayuk. You're starting George Kittle.
Yep.
I'm not starting Brock Purdy.
I agree. I mean, in like 2 QB leagues, super flex
Yeah.
leagues, I'm obviously starting Brock Purdy. I would rather flex him out though. I think there's more
Yeah.
passing touchdowns to go around somewhere else. I think either McCaffrey, if he plays rushing touchdown, Jordan Mason's involved. Debo's like the backup running back if McCaffrey doesn't play. So I mean I would be fine starting Purdy if you have to, but like if you were lucky enough to get Jaden Daniels and Purdy, I'm starting Daniels over
Yeah.
Purdy. I'm
Like,
starting Goff, Baker. I'm starting.
Matt Stafford, I would even play him
Oh,
over.
100%. Yeah, I think Stafford's gonna have a huge game versus Arizona.
But I would say like Brock Purdy's like quarterback 16 to 17 this week. Like
That's
I'd start him if
the
I
range
had
I'd
to,
have him.
but I'd look at waivers, see if there was anyone more appealing
Yeah.
than Brock Purdy. But I do think the Niners win this game.
Yeah, I picked the Niners.
Next up, the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks 3.5-point favorites, an over/under of 38.5. Kenneth Walker, as of now, still on the injury report within
Did not practice today.
with abdominal or I think it's oblique now. So like that's a little concerning. If he doesn't play, I check your waiver market. If Zach Charbonnet's out there, grab him up because he's going to be the back.
I would. He's like I would lock him in as like a flex play. I don't think I'd play him as an RB2, but I would have him in like the low 20s. New England though, I kind of like the sneaky pick this week.
2-0.
I right now I have New England. Right now I have New England locked in as the pick.
I will leave the podcast.
Seattle's offense looked rough last week. New England has a really good defense. There's a really good chance Kenneth Walker doesn't play. If Kenneth Walker doesn't play, that's a huge problem for Seattle.
Yeah, it is.
Like their
defense
receivers
also not that good.
No, but they're good enough to play against shitty quarterbacks. We've seen it week 1 versus Bo Nix. So I don't think Brissett's gonna blow him up. But I'm locking in Ramondre 100%, dude. Like Ramondre, lock that dude as an RB. Don't look him as a flex. He's a running back. He's good, dude. He's gonna get the catches. He's gonna get the work out of the backfield. And in Seattle wise, I'm starting their 2 receivers and whatever running back they have, I guess.
Yeah. So if New England plays like they did against the Bengals, if that defense shuts down, they held the Bengals offense to 8 total drives.
Yeah.
So if they're able to do that and just load
that
up
offense
Ramondre
held
again,
the ball too. Yeah.
Like, because like Jacoby Brissett only had like 120 yards passing. This passing game is irrelevant, but Ramondre is a must start. Like,
lock him in.
There is the world where like New England can be 2-0 if they script it again like they did last week
100%.
against the Bengals and they keep Seattle off the field. They're going to win this game.
I agree. Hunter Henry's a really sneaky pick play this week too, in like daily fantasy. There's a good chance he gets in the end zone. Seattle lets up a lot of tight end touchdowns. That's what Hunter Henry is for this team. He's going to be the red zone kind of option. So I'm not starting him in any league, but keep an eye out for touchdown wise for Henry.
Yeah, it's
Hunter
Ramondre
Henry,
only for me, and New England's
100%.
defense. If we're gonna,
no, yeah, I would start their defense.
Seattle, I agree. I'm starting DK. I'm starting Tyler Lockett.
Mhm.
I'm watching with biting my nails with JSN to see his involvement because last week it was similar to last season.
That guy at all.
No, I wouldn't start him, but like if I have him,
I'm worried.
Yeah, like if they do that again where he only has 2 catches and use him like the same they did last year, I'm dropping him. I'm dropping him.
It's
off
not
the team.
worth it. Yeah.
So I'm on red alert with JSN. Ken Walker's a must start if he plays. That dude,
If he plays,
freaking
amazing,
incredible last week against Denver.
Mm-hmm.
He freaking body bagged one of their guys like a freaking like suplex. Ken Walker, I love him, and if he doesn't play, I am flexing Charbonnet in.
Yeah, I'm cool with Charbonnet with the flex.
I'm picking Seattle though.
I'm picking New England.
Okay. Next up, the Tennessee Titans and the New York Jets, an over-under of 41. The Jets are only 4-point favorites. Tennessee's defense, low-key pretty good. Like, way better than I thought they were going to be. Like, they did a great job shutting down Chicago. We'll see if they can replicate that against the Jets here. Titans offense-wise, it is Tony Pollard for me. And
Yeah.
I guess if I had to start him, I would put Calvin Ridley in as well, but I am not super confident in it. Oh, he's going to get Sauce. Nah, I'm out.
No, I'm not
Change mine.
starting any
No.
receiver on this team. The Jets
Nope.
have one of the best pass defenses
Yeah.
in football. They are all getting locked down instantly.
It's Tony Pollard, and I may flex Tajay Spears. He might get the passing work, but
That still worried the hell out of me. Tony Pollard just looked leaps and bounds better than that guy week one.
so they did say it was hot hand. They were going with a hot hand. So if Pollard does get off to a slow start, but I mean, Jordan Mason just ripped this Jets defense up. 28 for 147, like we said. Tony Pollard, he's legit. Like,
He's a good running back.
Tony Pollard is. I'm starting him. I locked him into my RB1 spot on my home league. I'm comfortably putting him in my lineup, and he's the only Titan.
Yeah, I'm cool starting Tony Pollard for sure. He's a good running back. Like, the Jets have a really good defense, but it's mostly pass defense. Like, they lock receivers down for the most part. They have Sauce. He's going to lock down a corner, or he's going to lock down the receiver right off the bat. Like, it doesn't matter. It's going to be Calvin Ridley, unfortunately. He's going to be useless. Will Levis, useless. Tony Pollard's going to end up getting good amount of work. So
Jets defense. Great start.
Oh, yeah, because Will Levis is a blind man throwing that ball, dude. I don't know how he can't feel some type of pressure.
Chigakonkwo?
No.
He had a touchdown last week? No.
Yeah,
I agree. No. No to Chigakonkwo.
It's always no to Chigakonkwo. every week it's no.
R.I.P. King. Jets, you're starting Garrett Wilson. You're starting Breece Hall. Not starting Aaron Rodgers.
I am reluctantly starting Garrett Wilson. Hear me out. He had 4 catches in the first half, and he only had 1 catch after that. And he's gonna have Darius Sneed on him all game. Sneed's gonna follow Wilson, and he locks receivers out too. He's like a sauce, dude. He's a really elite corner. So Garrett Wilson worries me, and I love Allen Lazard this week, dude.
Aaron Rodgers loves Allen Lazard.
I put fab money on him in our home league. He was the receiver I went out and targeted. He played on 100% of snaps last week. The only offensive player to do so. Not even their quarterback did it. It was fucking Allen Lazard.
So
he had 2 tutties, 9 targets, 7 catches. He's a really sneaky start, and he should be rostered in a lot of
he should,
leagues.
watch. And who knows, like,
worst case scenario, you cut him after this week. It is
he
what
might
it
have
is.
phased Mike Williams out of this offense.
I think he did.
Like,
they're almost the same receiver.
Yeah, I want to see what Mike Williams like when he's healthier later in the year, how that ends up going. But Lazard, Aaron Rodgers threw the ball to 3 people.
Yep.
The whole game. He targeted 3 dudes, and it was Breece Hall, Allen Lazard, Garrett Wilson. He didn't even throw the ball to Tyler Conklin.
Yeah.
This podcast loves Tyler Conklin. Aaron Rodgers apparently does not.
Apparently not.
Tyrod Taylor did. He got the one target to him. But yeah, so I'm out on Conklin. I'm starting the big 2 from the Jets, and I'm willing to flex Lazard.
I have him in our home league. I said I put like $11 on him, so it's not an outrageous amount. And I am looking at to start him in the flex. Right now I don't have him. I have him on my bench. But come Sunday, dude, I really kind of think he's gonna end up in my lineup.
Jets win this game.
Yeah, I got the Jets.
Yep. All right, the big howdies, the Washington Commanders and the New York Giants. The Commanders are 1.5-point favorites, and over/under of 43. Jaden Daniels, your start of the week.
Dog.
Brian Robinson Jr., my start of the week. I'm also starting Austin Eckler. Comfortably.
Yep.
He gets targets.
100%. Yep.
Terry McLaurin scares me. I hold him in the same boat as I do Amari Cooper and Calvin Ridley. I'm trying not to start any of those guys, but if I have to, I will just close my eyes and do it. Because
yes, sir.
Justin Jefferson, I mean, Terry McLaurin's not Justin Jefferson, but Jefferson got a touchdown. Jalen Naylor got a touchdown. They burned the corners. Like, there's room for a big play touchdown for Terry McLaurin. Yeah. But I'm not comfortably putting him in my lineup.
No.
And then there's Giants. Daniel Jones should
theoretically
have a good game. The Baker Mayfield ripped this defense apart.
And
if Daniel Jones can't go out there and do this, Drew Lock needs to be the starting quarterback week 3.
He doesn't even need to go out and do the 4 passing touchdowns like Mayfield did, or whatever. He had 3 or 4. He's a dual threat quarterback, so theoretically, just on paper, he should be able to go out and perform fantasy wise. It's like, if he is quote for quote $160 million quarterback, please go out there and beat a below average defense. You don't even have to like look great. Just get a dub, dude. Like, what are we talking about here? We were 2 years ago, we were a playoff team. We beat Minnesota. We went into Philly. We lost, but like, fuck,
We're
dude.
the reason Minnesota's the reason Daniel Jones got that contract.
Yeah, fuck you, dude. And Daniel Jones gonna be the reason Brian Dable gets fired. I don't know, dude. Like, on paper, he should have a good week, but like you said, dude, if he shits the bed, dude, I was calling for his head week 1. Put in Drew Lock. Send every New York Giants fan $10. You owe us money, fucking $160 million. Jesus Christ.
I'm out on the stream of Daniel Jones. I will try finding a stream elsewhere. I don't want to put my team in the hands of Daniel Jones.
I'm personally starting Sam Darnold in a league because I lost Jordan Love. I trust Sam Darnold versus San Fran more than I trust Danny Jones versus a beat-up Washington's defense.
Like, there might only be 3 quarterbacks I would start Daniel Jones over. And it's Will Levis,
Watson,
Geno Smith, because of the matchup. I would much rather have Geno Smith than Daniel Jones, and Deshaun Watson.
Brissett, Minshew.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Minshew, he's gonna have to fucking huck a chuck. I would also start Daniel Jones over Bryce Young.
I would also start him over
And
Justin
Derek
Fields.
Carr. Nope. I would start Fields. Nope.
No.
I'm starting Fields. The big news, though, with New York, Malik Neighbors went on the injury report today. He missed
How
practice.
insane. Yeah.
He had a knee injury. It looks like he's okay. It doesn't appear to be anything serious. His leg tightened up, so we'll see if he's out there tomorrow, but that's something to keep an eye on.
Keep
Leg
an eye
tightness,
on it.
especially
Yep.
late in the week. You never want your guy popping up on the injury report on a Thursday. So keep an eye on Neighbors. If Neighbors is out there, you're playing him. He's the guy.
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
that
He led the
dude.
team in yards, targets. He's the guy that's going to get the ball. He's honestly the only Giant I'm comfortable starting.
Yep. Devin
So-
Singletary, I put him in the same boat as I do,
I agree.
Amari Cooper and all them. Like, if I have to start him, I'll start him. But Devin Singletary or Zach Charbonnet if Kenneth Walker doesn't play.
Singletary.
Over okay. Jeff Wilson, who's playing today. So, I mean, by the time this is out, we'll already know some of Jeff Wilson's.
That is true.
So-
So I'll get back to you after. No, that's rough. I kind of Singletary. I go
I would
Singletary just because Wright's also playing. There's 3 backs in Miami where it's just Singletary in New York.
Yeah. Singletary or Gus Edwards?
Gus,
JK.
JK.
Okay. I got nobody else.
It's very close though. Those 3 guys are all very close. Zach Moss. What about Zach Moss?
I would start Zach Moss. He found the end zone last week.
I agree. It's his backfield as well as his Singletaries, but I think I would trust Zach Moss a little bit
I think
more.
the Bengals have a better chance to score a touchdown than the New York Giants. New York Giants don't score touchdowns. It's a thing.
Oh, it's because Danny Jones, our quarterback teacher.
Who are you picking here?
I picked us.
Okay.
I picked us, but I'm not locking anything in. It could switch to Washington just because I want the dub.
I'm taking the Commanders. I'm going with Washington.
I think Jaden Daniels ends up getting the dub just because he's a good quarterback. That's what it's like. Who has the better quarterback? That's what I'm looking at. It's Jaden Daniels, and it's not even close, to be honest.
Oh, next up, the Arizona Cardinals and the Los Angeles Rams. The Cardinals are 1-point favorites in
at
this
home,
game.
so they're at home. You get 3 points at home.
Over under of 48 points. So this looks like it's going to be a high scoring game. Yeah, I don't care that the Cardinals are at home. The Cardinals are their coach is a goof. Like Sean McVay he's owned the Cardinals.
The Rams are banged up, dude.
The Rams are so banged up, and that's
they're
what
down
worries me.
4 of their 5 linemen,
and they're out Puka Nacua. So
that worries me, but it doesn't worry as much as it worries everybody else because the lineman situation freaks the hell out of me way more than Puka.
Yeah, I agree. Matt Stafford.
I think McVay can plug in Robinson. Dude. I think he's going to plug in Robinson. He's going to plug in Thomas or Tyler Johnson. He's going to plug in Parkinson, whatever the hell the tight end's name is.
Colby Parkinson. Yeah.
Kyron Williams had the most routes ran out of running backs and targets from the backfield. Like, I think all these guys are just going to get options. Like, they're going to fill in nice offensive wise, but the line scares me. But I don't think the Cardinals have a good enough defense to where it really matters that the line's banged up.
Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, I love Tyler Johnson. He
Yeah.
replaced Puka and he balled out against the Lions and had a better game than Demarcus Robinson. But I would much rather Demarcus Robinson's the receiver I would be targeting for this team.
100%.
So Demarcus Robinson, week 1 among 78 qualified wide receivers. This is per fantasy points data. He was 33rd in separation, 13th in route win rate. Last season, he was 18th in separation, 42nd in route win rate. Those are near elite numbers. This dude is good at football.
Yeah. I've been preaching this since college about this dude. Like, his separation game is crazy, dude.
Yeah.
But and then with McVay, you've seen it last year where this dude had a stretch of time where he was like a flex option receiver
when Cooper
too.
Kupp went out.
Yeah. So, like, he's the dude. Like, he's going to fill in phenomenally.
Yeah.
He was on the field for like 90-some% of snaps last week. And, like, you got to look at Tyler Johnson's game. He had a 63-yard catch and only finished with, like, under 80 yards. So that means he had 3 or 4 catches and didn't even have 20 yards on those catches. Like, he had a really big play, which was amazing. But, like, they had equal targets. I think Robinson's going to be a way better option.
Yeah, I think both should be rostered, but like I think everyone's looking into the fact that Tyler Johnson's the one who came in and put up the
Puka.
numbers.
I agree.
But DeMarcus Robinson was already out there, and he's always out there.
He's always out there. Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
Tyron, the fears are gone. You shouldn't have to be like Blake Corum didn't even touch the ball. I don't care that he's punt returning. Ronnie Rivers only had 2 carries. Like Kyron Williams is that dude. He's that dude. You're locking him in. I think Matt Stafford's a great play this week if you got to stream a guy.
I agree.
Stafford's a great stream. Cooper Kupp's incredible. Like
21 targets, dude. Last week, Cooper Kupp is
career high
good,
in catches too. Think about that. Hit a career high in catches. This dude won the Triple Crown. Set his career high in catches in a game this past week. Arizona. Also like Colby Parkinson. I didn't say that. But I think Colby Parkinson, if you lost Njoku or Ferguson, Colby Parkinson's a good play this week. He was on the field 75% of the time. He got a handful of targets. He was 4 for 30, 4 for 40, something like that.
4 for 47. So in this game, he still had PPR wise 8.7 points. Like if that's his floor, I'll happily take 8.7 from my tight end. And now without Puka, I think Colby Parkinson's
name is Tyler Higbee, and you'd be comfortable with it because Tyler Higbee was productive in this offense.
Yeah. I went out and I picked up Parkinson. I'm locking him in as my starter over Ferguson, regardless of what happens if he plays or not.
I agree.
I think he's gonna his floor is 4 for 47 again. I think, but hopefully, his ceiling he could get 5, 6, 7 catches.
Yeah, if he gets a tutty too. If he goes 4 for 30 with a touchdown, it's a great game. Arizona, Trey McBride. I'm not worried about it. I get he only was 5 for 30, but again, all the tight ends were bad last week. This dude was getting peppered with targets. He had 8 targets. Marvin Harrison is a concern. The Rams shut down Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I think the pendulum's going to swing. I think it's going to be like if you listen to their freaking offensive coordinators press conference, like, sometimes there's games where a guy you run 10 plays for him and they get 10 catches, and other times there's games where you run 10 plays for him and they don't get anything. Kyler Murray, then it's not my job to throw the ball to Marvin Harrison. Like it is your job, dude. That is your job, is to throw the ball.
That is your definition of a job. Like or the quarterback. Your job is to get the ball to the players.
Drew runs the plays. That tells me Kyler Murray doesn't read his routes. He doesn't go through his progressions.
Yeah,
if he missed Marvin Harrison on a game-winning touchdown.
Wide open. But yeah, if Drew's telling you who the fuck to throw the ball to before the play's even happening, Drew can't predict where people are zoning to, how the defense is running. He can predict it, but guys end up double covered, and that's how you end up throwing picks, Danny Jones. Yeah. You look at one dude, you read one guy, you read one route, you don't look at 2, 3, 4, you don't look at your options, and that's how you miss Marv wide open for a game-winning touchdown.
And I also want to know why Drew Pertzig, or whatever his name is calling jump balls down the sidelines to 5'2" Greg Dortch.
I love Greg Dortch. Crazy
Tyler
play.
Murray, you are the quarterback. You have the final say. You can go tell your coordinator, like, hey, I saw Marv out there. I changed it up. Sorry. Bite my head off. We got a touchdown on it.
Could you imagine if Peyton Manning walked up to an offensive line and didn't fucking change the play? Like, that's your job. If you see a read, you change the play. Omaha. What the fuck are you doing out here, Kyler Murray? Jesus Christ, dog.
Tom Brady just out here like, hey, Josh McDaniels said to do this.
He said I had to throw to fucking Hunter Henry, dude. I can't throw you the ball. I'm sorry.
Yeah, get out of here, Kyler. But I do think it will be a pendulum swing. I think they're going to go out there and heavily involve Marvin Harrison this week. I hope.
You hope so.
But I do think they do. I'm starting Marv with confidence.
I'm starting Marv. I'm starting McBride.
I'm starting James Conner too with confidence. James Conner,
100%.
he was almost my start of the week. Like Detroit's both running backs looked great against Los Angeles. James Conner's the only dude here. He's going to do what Detroit did. He's going to wear the Rams out. And I'm actually picking the Cardinals.
I am picking the Rams.
Okay. I'm worried about the line. I am like, I picked the Rams to finish third, and I just think like the injuries getting banged up. Like that always happens. There's like those really good teams who just like they can't beat that injury bug, and I'm worried that's going to happen in Los Angeles this year.
I get it. I trust McVay and Stafford to go out there and get the dub over the Cardinals is what I'm talking. I trust them to beat the Cardinals.
All right, next up, Chiefs, Bengals. Chiefs are 6-point favorites, over under of 48. Joe Burrow plays good against the Bengals, plays good against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I saw something online after like the Bengals week 1 loss versus the Patriots. Some guy was like, can we stop talking about Joe Burrow as an elite quarterback? He's not. Like, get him out. And I'm like, you're wrong, brother. You're wrong. Yeah. Joe Burrow's still an upper echelon quarterback.
Bad take. Bad take.
This game does worry me, though. Like, the Bengals need to do something, and they're also notoriously slow starters. 1-8 in week 1 and week 2's with Joe Burrow. So I am picking Kansas City, but
this is a bad time to play the Chiefs.
I would start Burrow, not with confidence, but like chances are if you have Joe Burrow, you have to start him. We in the Megalo Bowl have Joe Burrow, but we have Tua, and I'd rather start Tua than Joe Burrow 100%. This week. I would hold Joe Burrow like Brock Purdy. Like if I had to start them, like I'm not going to actively look to find a new quarterback, but if there's one out there like Matt Stafford, I would start him over Joe Burrow.
100%. Yeah, they're both pocket passers, and I think Stafford has way more upside touchdown-wise in a shootout with Arizona than I think the Bengals have a chance to just get steamrolled in this game, dude. Like it could be bad. Just because of how slow they are.
Joe Burrow looked fine. He was 21 of 29.
Their defense didn't though, dude.
Yeah. New England's offense just
is bad.
They just held the rock.
And like, to be honest, Kansas City's offense looks amazing, dude.
Is this going to be a Pacheco game? Are we just going to see them Pacheco's going to smoke and just run this clock out, which makes Worthy, Rice, and Kelsey a little bit of a downgrade this week?
No, Rice is not. Rice is a lock. They use that guy they use him on short routes, and Cincinnati's not going to be able to cover him.
He's the new Travis Kelsey. He's playing the Travis Kelsey role of this offense now.
Oh, yeah. 100%. He's so fake. He looks so fast, and Worthy's obviously the fastest guy in the NFL. I'm worried about Worthy because I honestly think Kansas City can come out here and do whatever the hell they want. If they want to run the ball 30 times, they're going to run the ball 30 times. If they want to pass the ball 60 times to get Mahomes 8 touchdowns, it's on the table. Cincinnati's defense is not good.
It's bad.
Kansas City's offense looked better than it has to start the season since Tyreek was there. It was so efficient. It usually isn't this early. It usually takes them a little bit of time to get going offensive-wise. Kansas City's dangerous right off the bat.
Yeah, I'm starting Pacheco with incredible confidence. Look what Ramondre did to this defense.
I mean, I think you have to start all your Chiefs, even Worthy, just based off of whatever Kansas City wants to do.
Worthy's the one that worries me because it was
100%.
All this stuff was on 3 touches.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I get it.
And obviously
but are you willing to risk 2 touchdowns on your bench again? Like, the upside in your flex spot, I think Worthy's worth starting.
Xavier Worthy or Jameson Williams? I'm going JMO.
I want to go JMO, but he got tagged with the questionable with his ankle, and that worries me. He's a fragile guy to begin with. I think I'm going Worthy.
Okay, I went with JMO because I think it's going to be a closer game, and
it is. I agree on that. Yeah,
he's not. I think Worthy's a manufactured touch guy, and his touches could be. I don't think he can get the workload yet that Jameson Williams got week 1.
Oh, he can't. But I think Worthy has a way better chance of getting in the end zone than JMO. That's what I
Maybe.
I think J-Mo can go out there and have 4 catches again for 100 yards, but no touchdown. But Worthy could have fucking 2 catches for 70 yards and a tutty and 2 rushes for 50.
Speaking of touchdowns, Devon Achane 5-yard touchdown catch from Tua.
Whoa, live updates on the game. From Tua? Is that what you just said?
From Tua. Yeah.
What the heck in hell?
Are you playing
God.
Tua? You playing against Tua?
Yes.
I love it. Okay, Bengals. Who you starting for the Bengals?
Zach
Moss. You're obviously starting Ja'Marr Chase. You're not going to bench.
You
him.
have to start Ja'Marr Chase.
If T. Higgins doesn't
Zach.
play again, would you start Yoshi Voss? He had the same amount of targets as Chase did week 1.
No.
No? Okay.
No, I don't trust the Bengals offense that much. I mean, if you have to start Zach Moss, I guess you start him. I wouldn't do it happily, but he got in the end zone last week. He looked efficient too. It just need to get him the ball. I don't know if that's going to be possible in this game because I think Kansas City can go up early. That's the risky thing with Zach Moss.
Yeah. So it could be a case like Baltimore with Derrick Henry where Zach Moss is sort of out and Chase Brown is playing Justice Hill. But I still think Zach Moss is going to be on the field. He can catch.
I agree.
I think they have to run the ball. And I think that was a big
They have
downfall.
to get a running game. I agree.
They only had 8 drives. They couldn't establish the run, so it just wasn't working. I think the Bengals will have a bounce back game. I don't think they're winning though. But I think the Bengals are going to be fine. I'm not going to overreact to week 1 on them. I think they're going to be fine.
I think they're going to be okay. It's going to be really hard to make the playoffs in that division, dude. That division's good.
Yeah.
I mean, Cleveland, they got lucky with Cleveland with Watson. Like, Cleveland was supposed to be really good this year, and Watson's really fucking bad.
But what if Jameis gets in?
That's good for fantasy-wise, but I don't know about real life, brother.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Denver Broncos, Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers are 2.5-point favorites. Only 2.5-point favorites. An over-under of 36.5.
Yeah.
Disgusting. The Steelers offense, abysmal, terrible last week.
Pickens looked good.
But yeah, Justin Fields was trying to stretch the field to George Pickens. And it's crazy because I don't know if you guys remember back when we were doing divisional previews, and I mentioned that Arthur Smith's offense is heavily peppering the middle of the field. And that is something Russell Wilson does not do. Justin Fields had 0 middle of the field targets. Everything was to the outsides. So that tells me Arthur Smith has changed this offense to fit both his quarterbacks.
That's what a good coordinator should do. So,
but he wasn't a good head coach. He wasn't fixing his offense to fit his players.
I mean, some coordinators aren't good head coaches. Look at Spags, dude. Still an elite coordinator, terrible head coach though.
This game's gonna be gross.
This game's gonna be fucking terrible, dude.
I think both defenses are really the only things I'm playing with extreme confidence.
Pickens, Pickens gonna have Surtain on him.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna start Pickens because I probably have to, but I don't want to. And then Denver's backfield, McLaughlin and Javonte. Estime went on IR, so that gets him out of this muggy picture because he was getting touches. He got touches early, and then he fumbled, and they kind of phased him out.
Yeah, he got 2 touches in the game, but then he fumbled. So
McLaughlin, he had more touches than
you have
Williams.
To start one. Which one are you starting?
Javonte. It's weird because they use them in opposite roles. Like I feel Arthur Smith is running Denver. Jaleel McLaughlin should be used in passing situations, but he had more carries than Javonte Williams, even though he had 5 catches for 1 yard. Did Jaleel McLaughlin?
A crazy stat line.
Javonte was in on passing downs. It made no sense. But I think Javonte's the better actual running back. I don't want to start either of them.
I agree.
I would start Javonte, but I am red alert. If Jaleel goes out there and has more touches again, I'd be willing to move on from Javonte Williams.
I think I'm starting McLaughlin over Javonte just based on he had 1 more carry, but then he also had 5 catches. I get he only had 1 yard, but let's say he had 5 catches for 25 yards. And then it's a whole different ball game, dude.
What if it's half PPR? Does that sway you at all to Javonte? Because Javonte was in on passing downs. They just didn't get targets.
But McLaughlin had the 5 catches, and he had more carries somehow. I just think it's going to be really split down the middle, and McLaughlin has the slight edge PPR-wise. So I even half point, I'm going to split towards McLaughlin.
I don't want to start either of them right now.
Oh,
And I love both
no.
guys. I was super high on both of them, and that offense is kind of gross. Denver, it's the defense. Like Cortland Sutton, he's pretty irrelevant. Greg Dulcich, irrelevant. Devon Valey, PPR guy, 8 catches, but he was on the injury report. So was Josh Reynolds. So we might see Troy Franklin and more Marvin Mims. Who knows? But either way, no thank you to Denver. No thank you to Pitts. I guess I'm playing Najee Harris if I have to. I don't want to. He's Najee Harris or Devin Singletary.
Najee.
I agree. Jalen Warren or Devin Singletary.
Singletary. I'm really out on Jalen Warren right now. I wouldn't start him in any league just based off he only had 2 carries.
Mm-hmm.
Cordell Patterson out-carried him, which is a very Arthur Smith thing to do.
It is.
So if this happens again for Jalen Warren, it's a wrap. Don't hold on to him. It's Najee's whole backfield. He had like 20 carries.
I'd still hold on to him.
Carries.
He's got the hamstring thing. So if that it might be a case of like they're lightening his workload early. So I would keep an
hamstring
eye on that.
things last all season.
They can, yes. Unless you're Mike Evans.
So,
he's immune to them, even though he always gets them.
Well, when you're a first ballot Hall of Famer, you're kind of built different, I guess.
Second ballot. Receivers don't get on first ballot unless they're Jerry Rice or Calvin Johnson.
1,000 yards every season, another 13 touchdown season coming, baby. Mike Evans, first ballot.
But this game, Pittsburgh's defense, if you got them, you're going to be loving that because they should be ripping up Denver. George Pickens, it's going to be an ugly start, but you're going to play him. Same with Najee. Pat Freiermuth, you cool streaming the Muth?
I know a lot of people are. I personally never am.
Okay.
Just based off the way they are. We are for sure, but I do know a lot of people out there that are very pro Pat Freiermuth this week.
I'm not in on that.
No, I agree.
Pittsburgh wins this game by way more than 2.5 points.
I picked Pittsburgh for sure. A little sneaky parlay, quick because we're talking about Pittsburgh. Barkley, offensive player of the year. TJ Watt, defensive player of the year. Jaden Daniels, rookie of the year. $45 gets you over $1,000 in return. And all 3 of those seem very likely off of week 1.
Okay, I don't got a parlay for you guys, so
I was doing a little award parlay. I didn't want to pick MVP. That's a little too risque for me, but
yeah, because that's a quarterback.
But I think TJ Watt, he got snubbed last year for defensive player of the year. I think he came back with vengeance, and you've seen it week 1. Barkley had the 3 touchdowns. I think that's a very safe bet. So those 2 guys, I think you can lock in.
I'll just give you a nice little throw $5 on this guy for defensive player of the year, and that's Khalil Mack. He's plus 10,000.
Khalil Mack had for sure.
He career high in sacks last year. He had 17.5 sacks last season.
Yeah.
And if the Chargers are good and they make the playoffs, Khalil Mack, defense, that's the key there. All right. Texans Bears Sunday Night Football. Texans are 6.5 point favorites, over under 45.5 points. I think the Bears passing game bounces back. Like I said, DJ Moore, start of the week, especially if they want to win this game. Nico went on the injury report today, so that's a little concerning. Watch out, this could be a Tank Dell game. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a Tank Dell game. Dalton Schultz also went on the injury report, so there might be some more passing options, just limited to Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs. But I think Nico's going to play. He's going to have a tough matchup, though. He's going up against Jalen Johnson, elite corner for the Bears. But you're starting your Texans. Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon, RB1.
From Chicago, it's DJ Moore for me, and I'll stream Cole Kmet if Keenan Allen is inactive and Rome Odunze.
It's looking like Rome's going to be inactive, and if Keenan Allen ends up playing, I'm really risky on Cole Kmet. But like you said, if both receivers are out, Cole Kmet is a nice little sneaky route runner. So, and that backfield, dude, they need to get Swift more involved or something, dude. They got to figure it out.
Is Roshan? Have you heard anything on him? Is he playing this week? I know he was hurt.
I have not heard, but the Bears defense is really good, dude. Like, I don't want to start him versus Houston, but the Bears have a really, really good defense. And I think at the end of the season, we're going to be like, hey, the Bears are good because of their defense. And we've seen it. We seen it last week. Like they didn't have an offense pretty safe.
Yeah,
and
they mollywopped Will Levis.
Yeah, it was. Will Levis had a nightmares, dude, about that defense.
Yeah. If the Bears win this game, it's because of that defense. And
Oh,
obviously,
yeah,
their
for sure.
passing game does have to step up. They can't win with 93 yards every week.
No.
I still think the Texans win this game, though.
I agree. I got Houston. I'm starting all my Texans except Dalton Schultz. I really don't want to
I
start Dalton
wouldn't even
Schultz.
start Dalton Schultz anyways. And then Monday Night Football. The Eagles are 6.5-point favorites home against the Atlanta Falcons, over under 47.5. Kirk Cousins on Monday night against the Eagles, in primetime in general against the Eagles, just doesn't work out. And Kirk Cousins looked horrible. He is not healthy.
He's not healthy, dude.
The Eagles defense, I've seen people cut them after week 1. If they're out there, grab them because they should be sacking the heck out of Kirk Cousins.
It happened in our home week. Someone, I don't know who cut him. I honestly forget. But someone cut him, and one of the guys I work with is in our home week. He walked up to us, and he's like, Eagles defense were just cut. And he's like, I'm snagging him. I'm like, good for you, dude.
Yeah.
That's a great get this week. Atlanta's offense is, like, Kirk's not healthy, dude. He's going to make some bad throws. Eagles defense is prime opportunity. They're always ready to strike. That defense is very, like, they're not like a great, but they're good, dude. Like, they're fast-moving defense. Kirk's not going to be ready for it, dude.
No. Devonta Smith, I almost made him my start of the week at wide receiver. We saw George Pickens able to stretch the field against Atlanta, and Devonta Smith is the field stretcher, deep throw guy for the Eagles, whereas AJ Brown's more underneath stuff. So, like, I think Devonta Smith's a great play this week. AJ Brown, obviously,
They're
stud.
all great starts. Philly's so
Dallas
good, dude.
Goedert, he's a guy we're starting him. We're streaming him in the Megala Bowl because we lost Jake Ferguson, maybe, and I think Goddard's a fine start. Fine, he's going to get you 7 points, which you'll take.
I would start Goddard over Parkinson, and I'm pretty high on Parkinson this week. I think Goddard's very capable of having a good game this week. He was actually the tight end I was really hoping was on market when I went to go look for a tight end because Ferguson's out. Unfortunately, we play in a league of Eagles fans, so Goddard's on a team. But dude, the Eagles I'm all in on, dude. I'm always gonna be. I have to this year. So start Hurts, Barkley, Goddard, both receivers, and the D. Run Philly this week hard, dude.
Atlanta wise, Jaden Reed did wonders against the Eagles defense, but the Falcons don't really have that style of receiver on their team. So, like, I think Bijan's going to be great this week.
I agree.
You're going to start Drake London, and just like you always are, you're going to hope he does something. And same with Kyle Pitts, because chances are you got to start Kyle Pitts because you're tight end. Even though the Eagles defense shut down Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave, but those guys are the 6th option in that offense. Kyle Pitts is the 2nd or 1st option in the passing game here.
You put those guys together, and they're still not as athletic as Kyle Pitts.
But I am not
Kyle Pitts is going to be that receiver that stretches the field for Atlanta this week, I think. I think Kyle Pitts is in line for not a great game, but if he ends up in the end zone, he's going to have a better game than last week.
Yeah. Well, he was tight end 3 or 4 last week.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
10 points. Yeah, but Drake London, I'm worried. How many games does it have to go before you're red alerting Drake London?
As a guy who traded him week 1 last year, after week 1, I dipped Drake London. I didn't even trade him. I cut him. That's how red alert I was.
He had a gooser last year, though.
Yeah, and he bounced back decently sometimes throughout last year, but it's going to take a while this year. Because whenever Kirk is healthy, it's going to click.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't know how long it's going to take him to get back into football shape being Kirk. Like, there was a huge difference between Rodgers and Kirk. Like, Rodgers had extra time to heal, and he
2
looked
extra months.
He looked healthy.
He looked better. Yep.
So if we're giving Kirk an extra month here to heal, that's 5-6 games you're missing with Drake London, and that's half a season, fantasy-wise.
Drake London or Chris Olave rest of season?
Olave.
I agree. Okay.
I think we're very pro Olave, more so than London to begin with.
Eagles win this game, though.
Yeah,
Easily.
for sure.
I think they crush them. All right. Boom. That's it. We're done. That's the end. Went through the games. Got our starts of the week. Gonna go turn the game on now and watch some football. Thank you guys for listening. As always, Drafted Up Podcast. You can follow us over on Twitter at DraftedUp_pod. Like, rate, subscribe, review, tell a friend. We're on Apple. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. Just search Drafted Up Podcast. We'll be there. Thank you guys, as always, as listening to the Drafted Up Podcast. Adios.
Bye.